welcome back to another episode of Rob Sports Center, man. As you can see by the title. So this is kind of going to be like a two-part video. I'm going to kind of be addressing some problems I think that's going on with LSU, and I'm going to be addressing the Jujuan Johnson situation. So first off, I'm going to start off with saying this in terms of LSU. Me and one of my buddies was talking, and we were just talking about LSU struggles defensively. You know, somebody was explaining to me, because I didn't watch the LSU and USC game, but they was just saying that USC kept running the same plays. For the most part, LSU just couldn't really stop them. You know what I mean? It's like, to a certain degree, they may have knew what was going on, but they just wasn't able to stop it. So here's the thing, right? When you look at that in terms of the defensive back problem, we always looked at LSU as DBU. You know what I mean? Just because of all the phenomenal DBs that they didn't had over the years, from, you know, Honey Badger, Morris Claiborne, Tre'Davious White, Patrick Peterson. Who else? Eric Reed. You know, these were all outstanding guys defensively for LSU. But it's like, the thing is, I think nowadays, and not just LSU, so I'm not gonna say that I think that this problem is you know, in terms of the whole overall scope of college football and in terms of recruitment. So you have most teams, but specifically I'm gonna speak for LSU in this video, that are recruiting players. They're recruiting players based off of prototypes. So what is a prototype? Prototype is a 6'1", 6'2" corner with long arms, a long rangy guy, like a Sauce Gardner type of guy. Those are what you would consider a prototype. You want a guy who's long and rangy because that can help with press man-to-man coverage, if that's the type of defense that you run. But the thing is this: when you're recruiting prototypes, a lot of times you're not paying attention to what they lack and what they don't possess. Now, it could be they can lack competitiveness, they can lack overall skill, or they can lack, you know, the mental, the mental fortitude for the game. And what do I mean by that? So when I say mental fortitude, I look at it like things like this, right? As a DB, if I'm lined up outside the numbers and we're in man-to-man coverage, if it's in zone, we got zones, it's different. But if we're in man-press-man coverage and I'm a DB and I'm outside the numbers, common sense lets me know, okay, it's only a certain amount of route combinations that this guy can run, because he has the sideline working against him. So anything that's breaking out that way, because he doesn't have enough room to really get any separation, then it lets me know that everything is going to be either vertical or it's going to be in breaking. Now, if he lines up inside the numbers, now that lets me know, okay, now he has options. Like, say for instance, if I'm guarding a receiver in a slot, they have options of what they can do. So it's a lot difficult, you know, to try to play that mental game, because they know where they're going and you don't know. And that's what you miss in terms of lack of the prototype. So specifically though, for this video with Jujuan Johnson, so for those who may not know, Jujuan Johnson is one of the best players in Louisiana history. I think he set a record this year for all-purpose yards for one player in Louisiana history. He was a phenomenal quarterback with LCA, you know, went to state championships. I don't think he actually ever won one, and I could be wrong, but, you know, he went to LCA and he didn't, you know, but he had a phenomenal career, you know, with LCA. So I was told that, because I kind of learned about him on the back stretch, that the kid was recruited from LSU as a DB, defensive back. I think it might have been a corner or a safety, but he didn't play, he hadn't played that since, you know, his freshman year in high school. But he was recruited and signed for that reason alone. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and this is just my honest opinion. I don't necessarily think that he's a next level quarterback, because I think that with a lot of what they did at LCA was just kind of backyard football. They just allowed him to be an athlete and make plays, you know. So I don't think that he's a next level quarterback. But with that being said, his biggest asset and his biggest strength is what he can do offensively with a ball in his hands. You don't get that same productivity out of him as a defensive back. So I like the idea of him being converted over. So I'm gonna read to you guys a little article that led to the decision of him being switched over to running back. So, highly regarded freshman safety Jujuan Johnson, who was switched to running back earlier in the week, didn't need much practice time to get on the field in his new position Saturday night when LSU met Nichols. And like I said, man, dude is a phenomenal athlete. He's one of those type of people that the term built different is designed for, you know what I mean? So Johnson, a 4-star recruit who played quarterback and defensive back for Lafayette Christian Academy, made the move to running back after John Emery suffered a season-ending ACL injury in Tuesday's practice. The 5'11", 203-pound Johnson entered the game on LSU's second series in the first quarter and quickly slipped out of the backfield for a 4-yard catch from Garrett Nussmeier for his first touch in a Tigers uniform. Johnson earned additional snaps and went on to finish the first half with 3 catches for 16 yards. He had a 4-yard touchdown catch from Nussmeier late in the second quarter of LSU's 44-21 victory over Nichols. It's likely that Johnson will see more action at his new position with only 3 other scholarship running backs available: Josh Williams, Caleb Jackson, and true freshman Caden Derman. And Derman, who did not play on offense in LSU's season opening loss to Southern Cal last Sunday, had 4 carries for 9 yards against Nichols. So, I like the idea of him being switched over to offense. Now, here's the thing. I somewhat like the idea of him being a receiver, or even a Deebo Samuel's prototype, a guy, because he has that type of skill. Because like I say, if you go look at his highlights from LCA, you will see that this dude is a baller, a playmaker with the ball in his hands. So I like the idea of having him lining up in the backfield as a running back and catching passes. I like the idea of having him lining up in the slot as a receiver catching passes. I like the idea of him possibly lining up outside the numbers, as a receiver and catching passes. But just solely a running back in terms of like, okay, but ground and pound, I think that takes away from, it takes away from what he brings as a player. And he's more of a finesse style player opposed to or more so power-based player, you know what I mean? So I would like the idea of them switching him over to receiver, but just to go back to the DB situation, man, this kid hasn't played since freshman year. And to say that you haven't played DB since freshman year and you coming into one of the hardest, one of the hardest conference in college football, which is the SEC. So you're having to come in and guard guys from Alabama, Ohio State, well, not Ohio State, but Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Tech, all these legit top tier schools in the SEC. You're having to try to come in and guard these guys, and you're at a deficit, at a disadvantage because you haven't played since freshman year. So my thing is this, LSU, we have to make sure that we're putting our guys in the best possible position to be successful. And I just think that converting him over to receiver, would be a good look for him. And I think that would benefit LSU tremendously, man. Having a guy like that you can just get the ball in and get him into open space and make plays. That's not a talent that a lot of people possess. So I mean, I like the idea of them converting him over to receiver. But that is it for this video, man. I just kind of wanted to briefly touch on that, man. Let me know what you guys think about it. Let me know if y'all think that, he's like I said, he built different, that he can handle being, having all that time off and switching over to play cornerback. Or let me know if you think he needs to stick to running back, or if you agree with me and just use him kind of like a hybrid Deebo Samuels type of situation, to maximize on his productivity. But that is it for this video, man. If you did enjoy this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, click that post notification bell. That way you be notified on all things Rob Sports Center, man. Because as you guys can see, I got these videos coming back to back, man. I told y'all, man, I'm trying to bring some of the highest quality analytics to YouTube. Not just pro, not just college, high school, on all levels, man. So stay tuned if you like that type of content. And I'll see y'all next video. I'm out this thing.